When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
After just 7 days, 96% of Shiseido Benefiance Wrinkle Smoothing Eye Cream users saw reduced wrinkles and diminished dark circles. Shop now at Sephora and discover how change can happen in the blink of an eye. Consumer tested by 110 women.
This content may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion advised.
My cashier whispered that someone was watching us. I turned and saw the same guy from the minivan standing around the corner, just staring.
When I asked for his name, he stood up and gave the most guttural scream I've ever heard.
I instantly recognized the red flag. I timidly picked up my pace. Then he did something I never could have expected.
From Killer Podcasts. True tales of horror, bizarre happenings, unexplainable events. This is Disturbed. Hello, and welcome back to the show. This week we have 4 haunting stories you'll wish were taken to the grave. So sit back, listen closely, and dive into the horror. In our first story, a mysterious clown lingers in the hall. Narrated by Jude Erin from Reddit user TipPotential2501.
Back in 2021, I worked at my local Papa John's. I was a senior in high school, so I would leave school around 2 p.m., then clock into work from 3:30 to 9:30, then drive myself home. The store was set up in a strip mall, so it had long floor-to-ceiling glass windows that people could walk by and see into the store, and partially over the counter. It was a Wednesday, which meant barely any orders coming in. The only manager on duty was a 21-year-old guy who had left the store up to me and 2 other employees, and he planned on coming back just to close at 9:30. So it was just me and my 2 co-workers, who I'll call Tyler and Maddie, alone all evening. My co-workers were hanging out at the cash register while I was preparing pizza dough. I was barely an hour into my shift when I looked up and saw a tall guy in a full clown costume walk by the store. He was wearing one of the Spirit Halloween clown masks with blue hair attached to it, as well as a full-body onesie-like thing that was bright yellow with polka dots on it. At first, I didn't think much of it because it was early October. I assumed he was just doing something Halloween-related. Then, I see Tyler point at the front of the store. The clown walked past again in the opposite direction this time, with his head turned towards my co-workers at the cash register area. We were a bit creeped out, but we still assumed it was a Halloween prank or something. For over an hour, he prowled around in front of our store. He would pace back and forth in front of the glass, disappear down the hall for a few minutes, and come right back. What freaked me out the most was when we watched him come back around and stop in front of our store, turn to face us, then cup his hands over his eyes and press his face directly against the glass, as if he was trying to see us closer. Since we were all under 18 and we couldn't see this guy's face, we were really nervous. Tyler kept texting the manager to come back, but he didn't get a reply. The last straw of the night for me was when Maddie said she needed to go out to the parking lot and grab something from her car. I forget what it was, but the parking lot was directly in front of the store entrance, so obviously Tyler told her it was a bad idea. Eventually, we decided that Tyler would watch by the front door as Maddie went out to her car. I kept on working and had to grab something from storage. When I came back, I saw Tyler and Maddie huddled by the cash register, completely freaking out. Apparently, after Maddie had reached her car, she turned around to see the clown back near the entrance of the store, just staring at her. Then, as she walked back towards the store, the clown hummed the air while looking at her. She rushed inside and Tyler locked the door. We were really fearing for our safety, so we called the store owner to explain the situation. The owner then got in contact with our manager, who finally came back to the store around 8 p.m. By that time, though, the clown guy was long gone, and luckily when I walked to my car that night, nothing happened. I still can't wrap my head around the thought process of that guy. The clown purge thing was already far over by 2021. And if it was some prank, who the fuck spends hours of their time just creeping out teenage employees?
I want to talk to you about your home security for a minute. I used to think home security was just an alarm that goes off after a break-in, scaring the intruder off and getting a neighbor's attention if you're lucky. But that's a reactive approach. By the time the intruder is in your home, it's too late. Your feeling of safety is shattered. Real security should stop a crime before it even starts. That's why I trust Simply Safe. Their system is designed to be proactive, not reactive. They use smart AI-powered cameras to identify threats lurking outside your home and immediately alert Simply Safe's professional monitoring agents. These agents intervene in real time before the break-in even begins. They access two-way audio to confront the person, trigger sirens and spotlights to scare them off, and request rapid police dispatch when needed, all helping to stop the intruder while they're still outside. That is real security. Join the more than 4 million Americans who trust Simply Safe with their home security every day, including me. And with a 60-day money-back guarantee and no long-term contracts, Simply Safe earns your business by keeping you safe and satisfied every day. Visit simplysafe.com/disturbed to claim 50% off a new system. That's simplysafe.com/disturbed. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Cooler temps are rolling in, and as always, Quince is where I'm turning for fall staples that actually last. From cashmere to denim to boots, the quality holds up and the price still blows me away. Quince has the kind of fall staples you'll wear non-stop, like super soft 100% Mongolian cashmere sweaters starting at just $60, their durable denim that fits right, and their real leather jackets bring that clean, classic edge without the elevated price tag. What makes Quince different is that they partner directly with ethical factories and skip the middlemen, so you get top-tier fabrics and craftsmanship at half the price of similar brands. This summer, I've been rocking their mesh performance tees, which have been great at keeping me cool with their breathable fabric. My wife also needed to replace her worn-out suitcase recently, and she loves her new TSA-approved carry-on from Quince. Keep it classic and cool this fall with long-lasting staples from Quince. Go to quince.com/disturbed for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/disturbed. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/disturbed. Welcome back to Disturbed. Next, a creepy customer follows her in a van and makes a post about it. Narrated by Audry Smiddy from Reddit user Conscious Drawer 8204.
Back when I was about 17, I worked as a courtesy clerk at a grocery store, bagging groceries and bringing in carts. My mom and sister also worked there, so the place felt like family. Most of the guys I worked with were protective of me, which honestly was a blessing because I got hit on by older men all the time. My boss would even follow me home some nights just to make sure no creeps were trailing me. One incident, though, has stuck with me. It was an insanely hot day. I just finished wrangling a mountain of carts and ducked into the little pizzeria corner of the store to cool down. Out of nowhere, this man in his 20s or 30s came up and handed me his number. He didn't say much and just walked off. I was too overheated to react. The next day, a silver minivan pulled up to me outside. The driver's window rolled down, and it was the same guy. He tried talking to me this time, but I cut him off, saying, "I'm 17 and I have a boyfriend." Usually that scared men away, and I thought it worked this time because he drove off. I was wrong. That night, near closing time, my cashier whispered that someone was watching us. I turned and saw the same guy from the minivan, standing around the corner, just staring. I told my night manager, who immediately opened the office door while counting tails to keep an eye on things. The guy eventually left the store, but just waited outside. My manager ended up following me home again that night. A few days later, my aunt randomly texted me, which was really unusual because we hardly ever talked. She sent me a link to a Craigslist missed connections post and asked if it was about me. It was. The post said something like, "Saw you working at the grocery store. You were cute. You wore a bow in your hair, suspenders hanging from your shorts, a bunch of wristbands, and had bright-colored hair. Your name tag said Garrett. I'm 40 and would like to meet up." The Garrett part really freaked me out because Garrett wasn't me. My coworkers and I used to switch name tags sometimes just to mess with customers and see their reactions. So not only was this guy watching me closely enough to describe my entire outfit, but he also memorized the fake name I just happened to be wearing that day. I ran to my day manager and showed him the post. He immediately replied to it with, "Too young for you, -parent." After that, things got weirder. I'd see the same silver van around, but sometimes I wasn't sure if it was even the same guy. Once I rushed inside after spotting it, and suddenly the man was already following me down an aisle. There was no way he could have parked that fast and gotten inside. When I screamed, he bolted before anyone else saw him. The police got involved and gave me an escort home every night for a week. Eventually, I transferred to another store in a different town, and I never saw the van or that man again. Part of me thinks he may have been more than just a creep. Not long after this happened, the local police busted around 40 people in the area for human trafficking. Regardless, that Craigslist post still gives me chills to this day. I wish I could find it again. It was so unsettling reading how he described me.
Don't run away. Disturbed will return in a moment.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Down at the supply store, 3 strangers appear when a high schooler is walking to her car. Narrated by Melissa LaFore. From Reddit user Prob Inebriated.
When I was 16, I had a pet potbelly pig, and I'd drive my dad's car to go get him pig food from the tractor supply down the road. Pig food is sold in giant 50-pound bags, but I could carry it to the car and into the house just fine. One day, I was leaving the supply, big old bag of pig food in my arms. As I left, I noticed 3 men loitering outside who weren't there when I went in. I thought nothing of it and kept walking to the car. I had only taken a few steps when one yelled out, "Hey, Ma, you need help with that?" I genuinely thought he was just trying to be nice, so I politely declined. I did this all the time and really didn't need any help. "No, I said let me help you," he said, more aggressively. I instantly recognized the red flag. I timidly picked up my pace and said, "I promise I'm okay, but thank you." Then he did something I never could have expected. He started sprinting towards me at full speed, and both of his buddies were close behind him. I ran as fast as I could, heaving with this heavy bag towards my car. When I reached the driver's side, I ripped the door open, threw myself into the seat, and locked the door, just milliseconds before he slammed into the side of my car. He yanked on the handle and began angrily pounding on the glass as I stared at him in shock. It was terrifying. Once he realized he wasn't getting into the car, he walked back to his buddies in a huff, and one of them shouted at me, "Fucking bitch." I just sat there, crammed by this 50-pound bag until I fully processed everything and snapped out of it. I threw the bag in the passenger seat and drove off. I don't know what their plans would have been if they caught me, but it's frightening to think about how he got so violent at the drop of a hat.
In our final story, a stalker goes off the deep end. Narrated by Bodhi Crowe from Reddit user Our Calendar 6289.
This story is a little weird, so stay with me. I walk to work Monday through Thursday, and I always go the same way. About 2 months ago, I noticed this guy on my commute, sitting on the curb. Every day at about 4 p.m. when I headed to work, he was there. I didn't think much of it. I figured he's new to town, probably homeless, and just on his own schedule. But something happened last week. I walked past him like always, but a few turns and a bridge later, I realized I forgot my work visor. I didn't want to wear the spare one that's never washed, so I headed back home to grab mine. As I went back over the bridge, I saw the man again. We were several blocks away from his usual curb, but that didn't really mean anything. He walked past me on the sidewalk, heading the opposite direction, and I continued on home to grab my visor. After getting what I needed, I headed back to work. A few blocks away from home, I saw the man for the third time that day, and he was walking towards me again. He had to be following me. There was no other reason he'd be making the exact same turns as I was. I had no idea what he was up to, but I crossed to the other side of the street to put distance between us. When I reached the opposite sidewalk, I glanced over at him. He was glaring at me. I started getting worried. I called my girlfriend and asked her to watch the apartment while I was working because I thought he might try and rob the place while I was out. When she got there, she saw the guy smoking right outside my place, but he left before I returned home. On my way to work the next day, I saw him again and I decided to confront him. When I asked for his name, he stood up and gave the most guttural scream I've ever heard. I was completely freaked out, so I just ran home. I ended up calling out of work because I felt so unsafe leaving my house. A few hours later, I heard scratching at my windows. And when I pulled aside the curtain to see what it was, I saw the man with his hands on the glass. It was so terrifying I started bawling and yelling at my girlfriend to call the police. She listened and the police came, but all they did was get a description for me and leave. Living in fear about going to work has been awful, but the craziest part happened yesterday. I got a phone call from an unknown number, and I let it go to voicemail thinking it was spam. But it wasn't just one call. I got dozens, to the point where I felt I had to pick up. When I finally did, I heard that hair-raising scream for the other end. I had no idea how the guy got my phone number, but I reported it to the police. Now, I don't really know what to do. He has my address and my phone number, and he may know where I work. Is he going to try to rob me? Is he just pranking me? Is he a drug addict, stalker? I have no idea, and the uncertainty is unbearable.
Want more Disturbed? Check out our Patreon for member-exclusive content, early merch access, and other cool perks. I'm your host, Doug Bailey, and this has been Disturbed, a production of Killer Podcasts and part of the Evergreen Network. For more paranormal and true crime shows, visit killerpodcasts.com. Follow our social channels at Disturbed Podcast on Instagram or Disturbed_pod on Twitter. If you enjoyed the show, please consider subscribing and reviewing on your favorite listening platform. Share your own true horror story at disturbedpodcast.com. Music by Epidemic Sound and by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. Our producer is Declan Roars. Audio engineering by Nathan Corson, Will Pritz, and Sean Rule Hoffman. Executive producer Bridget Coyne. Until next time, stay safe out there.